Hey everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life, and today we're here to share with you our review of Fear the Spotlight on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this review was originally written by Ollie Reynolds for NintendoLife.com, but was reworked into this video by me. When Blumhouse Productions announced its venture into the video game industry with a brand new games division in 2024, it would have been all too easy for the company to lean on some of its more recognizable IPs for its first release. Franchises such as Insidious, The Purge, Sinister, and Paranormal Activity certainly have strong potential within the video game realm, but Blumhouse instead chose to take a chance on the two-person development team Cozy Game Pals and their debut title, Fear the Spotlight. And it was truly the right decision. With its lo-fi PS1 style visuals, tactile puzzles, and a sharp focus on atmosphere and dread, Fear the Spotlight is a wonderful venture into the unknown that will keep you enthralled through its 5 to 6 hour runtime. There are some pretty minor performance hiccups, but if you're after something spooky yet approachable to complement your Halloween celebration this year, Cozy Game Pals narrative horror is the perfect choice. Taking place within the halls and corridors of a typical high school complex, you take on the role of Vivian as she and her friend Amy break into the library and set up a seance with a Ouija board and a bunch of candles. After a delightfully spooky scene in which the Ouija board takes on a life of its own, things go awry and you're now tasked with exploring a dilapidated high school in search of answers. The game's impressive use of atmosphere is apparent right from the get-go. The blocky, polygonal assets are very much a callback to the PS1 and N64 era, but what might have been a fairly unpleasant-looking game for some has been greatly elevated by excellent lighting, an immersive behind-the-shoulder camera setup, and a visual noise filter to help darker environments look creepier and imposing. You can turn the latter option down if you're finding the effect a bit too much though. Performance remains mostly stable throughout, but some of the more effects-laden set pieces can cause rare, minor frame drops. Similarly, the sound design here is a delight. There's very little music in Fear the Spotlight beyond the dread-inducing ambient track that plays whenever the game's evil entity crops up, but otherwise your experience will be propped up by excellent diegetic sounds. Creaking doors, crackly radios, and mysterious bumps and thumps as you sneak your way through dark corridors will keep you in an almost constant state of anxiety and fear. Now, the gameplay is primarily a combination of puzzle solving and exploration. Think of it like survival horror, but with less survival. As you make your way through the school, you'll find that many passages are blocked by intricate mechanisms requiring multiple items that are scattered throughout the classrooms and halls. Obtaining said items is generally a case of solving tactile puzzles, and the way that you interact with these is incredibly immersive. You'll be turning knobs, removing screws, pulling levers, plugging in cables, and so much more. When you interact with a puzzle, the game switches to first person, where you're able to move a cursor around and interact with the in-game objects directly. It's incredibly satisfying, and the immersion is amplified by strong use of the Joy-Con's rumble feature, providing feedback for each and every object interaction. Of course, it wouldn't very well be a horror game without some sort of menacing entity keeping tabs on your journey throughout the school. Occasionally, particularly within much darker areas of the game, you'll encounter spooky humanoid creatures with bright white eyes peering at you in the darkness. They might be lurking behind the corner of a hallway, crouching behind desks or chairs, or perhaps even squatting down atop some library shelves. They're not particularly dangerous, but their presence is always unnerving, particularly when you merely catch their gaze with your flashlight before they dart out of sight. However, what you'll need to be on guard for is a monster that stalks you at set intervals. Designed to look like a zombified human with a searchlight in place of a normal head, this thing will slowly weave its way between desks and obstacles, casting its fiery light across the ground in search of you while leaving a trail of burning flames in its wake. Avoiding the monster is simply a case of crouching down and making your way slowly to your destination, while using objects to hide from the spotlight. If it catches you, Vivian will take damage via her asthma condition, requiring the use of inhalers found littered around the environment. These encounters won't prove to be particularly difficult since the game is much more concerned with telling its story, but they're nevertheless very effective at providing bursts of sheer terror amidst the otherwise quiet, foreboding high school. Speaking of the story, everything found within the game, from the student notes to the discarded news clippings, goes to supporting the overall narrative. Nothing is wasted, and even the creatures found within the high school are given a reason for their presence, provided you're willing to interact with and read every piece of lore lying around. It's a wonderfully told story with a tragic background, and the way that the events unfold is never less than enthralling. Now, once you're done with the campaign, you'll unlock a chunk of additional content, and the specifics of which we won't dive into here. But needless to say, completing the main story is well worth the time and effort, and thanks to the largely forgiving difficulty throughout, Fear the Spotlight is a comfortable must-play for both fans and newcomers to the horror genre, truly. Fear the Spotlight is an excellent narrative horror experience that proves to be the perfect companion for the Halloween season. It's a game loaded with atmosphere and dread throughout, with immersive tactile puzzles and an overarching storyline that is engaging and tragic in equal measure. Encounters with the main enemy won't prove particularly challenging, but they're always nerve-wracking thanks to its creepy design and accompanying spooky audio. Some rare minor performance hiccups aside, this is a must-play for horror fans and an approachable entry point for newcomers. We here at Nintendo Life give Fear the Spotlight on the Nintendo Switch a 9 out of 10. Now for this review, Ollie played through the entirety of Fear the Spotlight, but I have not. I demoed the game back at Summer Game Fest, and I've spent a few hours with it now myself on Switch. But so far, I've had an absolute blast playing through this game, especially during this time of the year, sitting on the couch with my brother, passing the controller back and forth, and trying to solve different puzzles. And now I know Ollie spoke about it lightly in the review, but that genuinely is my favorite thing, is how interactive the puzzles are. So often in survival horror games, I feel like you'll pick up a key or an item, and you'll end up finding the place for it, but you'll just end up pushing the A button to progress, and you'll slot the item into place. But here, you actually have to pick up the items and kind of maneuver them. You have to slide a sliding door, you have to put a key into place, you have to push buttons on a phone to call someone, and it all just goes to make the world feel that much more alive and feel that much more like you are the one solving the puzzles. So that, coupled with the sound design, really go a long way to make this game feel that much more immersive. It's almost comical how many times I caught myself jumping at something that wasn't even scary. I was like playing this in front of my brother and was actually like quite embarrassed, but we had a lot of fun with it so far. So I really can't recommend Fear the Spotlight enough this Halloween. It'd be a great game to play with your friend or with your partner even too. So do let us know in the comments down below if you've heard of Fear the Spotlight before, or if you're going to be picking it up for the holiday. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, then why don't you hide that subscribe button from the spotlight? Quick, it's coming, hurry! And then ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we put up more videos like this. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to Ollie for spending all of his time with Fear the Spotlight. I'm Zion from Nintendo Life. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time.